नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो
Swami Vivekanand Subharti University, one of the leading universities of North India. 250 acres campus, 220 plus professional and vocational programs, 20,000 plus students. Give wings to your career with Swami Vivekanand Subharti University. NH 58 Meerut, Delhi, NCR.
सुभारती कैंसर इंस्टीट्यूट विश्व की अत्याधुनिक मशीन द्वारा कैंसर का हर तरह का इलाज, साथ ही एमआरआई, कार्डियक सीटी स्कैन, किडनी, हिप एंड जॉइंट ट्रांसप्लांट, हेयर ट्रांसप्लांट, एंडोस्कोपी, लैपारोस्कोपी, न्यूरोसर्जरी आदि सुविधा भी उपलब्ध हैं। 24 आवर्स इमरजेंसी, डायलिसिस एंड डायग्नोस्टिक सर्विसेज। सुभारती हॉस्पिटल, NH 58 मेरठ।
Raj Bihari Bose, Subharti University, Dehradun. The road to your professional development starts here. Registration and admissions are open. For more info, dial 761-758-5561, 761-758-5566 or log into our website www.rbbsu.edu.in.
नमो बुद्धाय। मैं आरपी सिंह आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं हमारे विशेष कार्यक्रम धम्मदीप में। दर्शकों, जैसा कि आपको विदित है, धम्मदीप एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम है जिसमें तथागत बुद्ध के जीवन पर आधारित हर पहलू पर आप तक इस विषय के जाने माने विशेषज्ञों द्वारा जानकारी दी जाती है। और इसी क्रम में आज हम आपको ले चलते हैं देहरादून, उत्तराखंड। अब हम देहरादून स्टूडियो से डॉक्टर साहतु सेंडर जी, जो हमारे साथ देहरादून स्टूडियो से जुड़ रही हैं, उनको लेते हैं। डॉक्टर सेंडर जी का जन्म म्यांमार में हुआ और उन्होंने बुद्धिज़्म पर उच्च शिक्षा प्राप्त की तथा देश विदेश के अनेकों बड़े शिक्षण संस्थानों के जुड़ने के साथ साथ बहुत से सम्मानों से अलंकृत हुई। उन्होंने बुद्धिज़्म पर अपने विचार पूरे विश्व के अनेकों प्लेटफॉर्म पर रखे। आज इसी क्रम में हम श्रीलंका में बुद्धिज़्म विषय पर विस्तार से चर्चा करेंगे। आज यह इंग्लिश में बोलेंगी, लेकिन हम अपने हिंदी दर्शकों के लिए उसकी सबटाइटल अपने चैनल के स्क्रीन पे लगातार चलते रहेंगे। तो हम स्वागत करते हैं डॉक्टर साहतु सेंडर जी का। वेलकम डॉक्टर सेंडर जी, वेलकम टू आवर चैनल।
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon and Namo Buddhaya. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. I am Professor Dr. Soto Sanda. I am also professor and advisor from Mahapajapati Gautami Subharti School of Buddhist Studies, Raj Bihari Bose Subharti University, Dehradun, India. So today my topics and my lecture is about Buddhism in Sri Lanka. So as per my previous lectures, I always mention, according to Theravada Buddhism, total 5 countries we are follow the Buddhism as Theravada traditions. So these 5 countries are Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Cambodia and Laos. So nowadays, today I am talking about Sri Lanka Buddhism, how they practiced, how Buddhism was arriving to Sri Lanka, how the monks participating in the Theravada Buddhism in Sri Lanka, and who is the prominent Buddhist scholars in Sri Lanka. So about these small topics I will explain and I will share to my knowledge and my education to all of you. Okay, so my topic is about Sri Lanka, about Buddhism in Sri Lanka and famous scholar. Buddhism in Sri Lanka, actually it is a primary of the Theravada school, but only 70% of Sri Lanka population, they follow to the Theravada Buddhist practice. About the history of Theravada Buddhism in Sri Lanka, according to the tradition, Sri Lanka chronicles, they mention especially in Dipawansa, that is mentioned as Buddhism was introduced into Sri Lanka during the 2nd century BCE. Before Christ's era, Buddhism was reaching to Sri Lanka by Venerable Mahendra, who is the son of Emperor King Asoka. And because of that, during the King Asoka reign, Sri Lanka King Dewanapariya he accepted and he embraced for the Theravada Buddhism. Sri Lanka has the longest continuous histories of Buddhism of many Buddhist nations. Regarding with the Sangha, they have existed in the longly unbroken lineage of Sangha since introducing of the 2nd century. So another important event was happening in Sri Lanka according to Buddhist history, especially according to Theravada Buddhist history. That event was that notable event. That was the 4th Buddhist Council was held at Sri Lanka. So please let's see. In the 1st century AD, during the reign of King Votakamani, that the Buddhist monks assembled in Aloka Vihara in Sri Lanka, and then they convoked for the 4th Buddhist Council. The outcome of that 4th Buddhist Council was too much beneficial for the Buddhist society. What is that? So that outcome is the whole Tipitaka was written down on the palm leaves after the 4th Buddhist Council. So that is a notable work of the Sri Lanka. We have to gratitude to the Sri Lanka monks and Sri Lanka peoples for the long lineage of to preserve for the Buddhism. Because of that, nowadays we can study the real authentic Buddha's teachings. We can study on the wall. So after that, they after writing down the Pali scriptures on the palm leaves, they have done many of the copies of their Tipitaka, and then they brought to the other countries like Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, and Laos also. During King Asoka period also, the king he permitted to his son and daughters. Their names are Venerable Mahendra and Venerable Sanghamitra. Even that time, Venerable Mahendra is only 20 years old and Venerable Sanghamitra is only 18 years old. Even they are so young, but they too much pious to the Buddhism, believe to the Buddhism, and they enter to the Buddhist society of the Sangha at Sanchi, in the middle of India, so near to the Vidisha. So at that place, they are practicing meditation, they are learning Buddhism, and finally, both of them, they attained Arhat. After that, their father, King Asoka, requested to them, after the 3rd Buddhist Council, he sent to his son and daughter to Sri Lanka. Because of that, 2 famous disciples and that 2 persons that is noted for their piety, attainments, and learning of the profound knowledge of the Dhamma. Sri Lanka is studying to embrace the Buddhism till up to now. For that, Dewanapariya, the king of Sri Lanka, had already expressed his friendship by sending ambassadors to the valuable gifts to the Indian King Emperor Asoka. So monks from Sri Lanka. So they are also important roles in Sri Lanka. They had an important role in spreading both Theravada and Mahayana throughout Southeast Asia. So 4th Buddhist Council in Sri Lanka I left one important thing. That one is Sri Lanka in 4th Buddhist Council in Sri Lanka. The place of 4th Buddhist Council was held in Tampapani in Sri Lanka. So Venerable Maharakita, he is the president of that 4th Buddhist Council, and then 500 monks or 500 bhikkhus, they are reciting the words of the Buddha by heart. So after that, they written down on the palm leaves. So another one is after the Buddhist council, Buddhism was too much flourished on the wall. And another subtopics about Sri Lanka is I want to tell about the monuments and history of stupa in Sri Lanka. The earliest monuments in Sri Lanka is the stupa, or in Sri Lanka what they are calling Chetia. So it is too much venerated and important monumental structures built by the honored Lord Buddha and some famous venerables and notable monks and his disciples. During the time of Emperor King Asoka, he built numerous stupas were built on the ground of India, and these were entire relics of the Buddha which people venerated. So about the Buddhist literature in Sri Lanka. So about the Buddhist literature in Sri Lanka is Pali Chronicle. For example, Dipawensa, Mahawensa, Tupawensa and Sulawensa, as well as the large collections of the stone inscriptions that we found in Sri Lanka too. All of the records are written in Pali literature. So another one important things that we have to learn is a famous Buddhist revival of Sri Lanka. So according to the Buddhist history, sometimes Buddhism was not fixed in Sri Lanka history. Sometimes Buddhism was flourished, sometimes Buddhism was defamed, and sometimes Buddhism was disturbed by those others religions and other countries also. That's why the different type of revivalists were the revivalists are activity carried out by the group of scholars. Among these, the most famous one and the most beneficial one is Venerable Anagarika Dhammapala. He was famous for his great personality, and he lies his successful effort to reforming the Buddhist society in Sri Lanka, not only in Sri Lanka. His effort is affected to India also. So he was the foremost among those who arose against the mentality of the Buddhists. In the 16th century, according to the history of Sri Lanka, Portuguese, they are conquered to Sri Lanka, and under the colony of British. So according to the history of Sri Lanka, they are under the rule of the foreign countries in two times. The first time is Portuguese, second time is British. So at the beginning of the 19th century, under the colony of British, Buddhism in Sri Lanka was well into decline. So sad for that one. Since then, Buddhism was flourished, and Sri Lanka monks and lay people have been prominent and spreading Theravada Buddhism in Asia, the West, and even to Africa also. So we will like to talk about Anagarika Dhammapala. So he was born in 17 September 1864 in Sri Lanka. He is a really leading figure of initiating two outstanding figures of Buddhism in the 20th century. His trip to Bodh Gaya, that is a very benefit for all of us, I mean all of the Buddhist people around the world. He went to his trip to Bodh Gaya. He went to Bodh Gaya inspired by in 1885 and visit there by Sir Edwin Arnold, who is the author of The Light of Asia, the famous book in Buddhism, and who soon started to advocating for the renovation of the site of Mahabodhi temple. So when he was arriving to Bodh Gaya, the Mahabodhi temple was totally declined. So there his experience, and he shocked because of when he saw the Mahabodhi temple. The temple was also in the hands of the Shiva priest. The Buddha image was transforming into the Hindu icon, and then Buddhist barrier from worship at that time. As a result, he began to movement. He began to start the movement. He began agitation movement, the Mahabodhi Society of Colombo. And starting to, he found the one society named Mahabodhi Society of Colombo, founded in 1891, and but soon moved to the after next 1 year in 1892. That Mahabodhi Society was suddenly moved to Kolkata, and after that they are working out for the Buddhist activities under Mahabodhi societies. One of its primary aims was the restoration of the Buddhist control of the Mahabodhi temple at Bodh Gaya, which is the chief of the 4 Asian Buddhist holy sites. To accomplish this, Nagarika Dhammapala initiated a lawsuit against the Brahmin priest who was staying in Bodh Gaya, who had held control the sites for centuries. After protracted struggle, he was successful with the partial restoration of the site to the management of the Mahabodhi Society in 1949 after the independence of India. Mahabodhi Society, after that, centuries by centuries, they are set up in many Indian cities, and this had the effect of the rising Indian consciousness about Buddhism. Due to the effort of Nagarika Dhammapala, the site of the Buddha Mahaparinibbana, that is called Kushinagar, has once again become a major important attraction of the Buddhism. Dhammapala or Nagarika Dhammapala is an excellent example of an ASEAN Buddhist modernist and perhaps the paradigmatic example of the Buddhism. So, because of him, at the Saranath or Bigataya, he established one of the big monastery and society. From then, in 1933, he moved to Bodh Gaya to Saranath, and then before 1932, he became a monk, and then he practiced meditation also. On the other hand, he was too much working hard for the revival of Buddhism in India. So, but unfortunately, even he was too much effort for the Buddhism, he is not successful, and unfortunately, 1933, he passed away at Saranath. So, but for his foundation and his society, they are going to continue for trying to do the lawsuit from the Brahmin priests, and then finally, after the independence of India, Mahabodhi Society was ruled by Buddhist people and Hindu people. We are together managing for development of the Mahabodhi Society. And his beneficial efforts is, another one thing is, he was working too much of not only for the Buddhists, for the Myanmar, not only for India, for Myanmar people also. Because one of our second last king, King Mendong, he constructed the rest house in Mahant Palace, like that Brahmin priest palace area. So for that rest house, some Myanmar people and Asian Myanmar kings, they want to handle again in Myanmar. So for that also, Nagarika Dhammapala, he was too much supporting for Myanmar people and Buddhist people. And the foremost and the first Buddhist temple in Bodh Gaya was the Mahabodhi Society. It is in front of the Mahabodhi temple campus. So the great personality of Nagarika Dhammapala, who is internationally gave his service for the revival of Buddhism in Sri Lanka, India, and other parts of the world, it still remains up to date. And another important event and walkout he was doing together with the Swami Vivekananda, because both of them are very close. And one event is in 1983, the World Religious Parliament is celebrated in Chicago. For that conference, behalf of the Buddhist people, Anagarika Dhammapala was going to attend the conference at Chicago along with Swami Vivekananda. Together they are leaving from India. So Swami Vivekananda is a behalf for Hindu and Anagarika Dhammapala is a behalf for Buddhism. All Buddhism representative for Mahayana and Theravada. At that time, all of the worldwide people, they are calling to us like Mahayana and Hinayana. So for that Hinayana, Maha means in the Pali words, Maha means great, Hina means a vehicle. And same like Hina is the lower and Yana is vehicles. So that two groups of Buddhism, we are proceeding to the Nibbana by Mahayana is the higher and greater vehicle, Hinayana is lower vehicle. So at that time, that Buddhism groups are discrimination each other. For that, Anagarika Dhammapala, what he's done in 1893 conference, he write the proposal and he submitted there. He write that don't be mentioned as Hinayana and Mahayana because our tradition is not be lower, not be not good for like a Buddhism. So because of that, he mentioned, please mention our tradition is like Theravada. Theravada means Thera is the elder of the disciples of the Buddha and Vara is method. That's why we are follow all Theravada countries, we are follow the elders of the Thera method. So please mention here. So he submitted like that, please mention here and don't call to us like a Hinayana, please call to us Theravada. So for that meanings and for that words, because of Anagarika Dhammapala, he submitted to the World Religious Conference and World Religious Parliament in 1893 at Chicago. But till now, up to 1954 to 1956, mostly people, they are known as Mahayana and Theravada. But finally, in the 6th Buddhist Council, which was held in Myanmar, at that time, we are inviting many of the Buddhist countries, and then 2,500 Buddhist monks are attending that 6th Buddhist Council. And then at that time, we requested to the all Buddhist countries to mention to us Mahayana and Theravada. Starting from that 6th Buddhist Council, the two major groups in Buddhism was we mentioned in Theravada and Mahayana. So because of the Sri Lanka, because of Sri Lanka monks, because of Sri Lanka revivalists, we have a lot of benefits in Buddhist war. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Dr. Sandar ji, thank you very much for your informative information on Buddhism. Dr. Sahatur Sandar ji, आपका बहुत बहुत आभार. कल इसी समय हम आपके समक्ष फिर एक नए एपिसोड के साथ उपस्थित होंगे. तो साथियों, आज के इस विशेष प्रोग्राम में अब इतना ही. अब समय हो चुका है आज के प्रोग्राम के विश्राम होने का. लेकिन उसके पहले आपको बताते चलें कि आपके मन में भी जो प्रश्न हो, जो जिज्ञासाएं हों, वह आप इस प्रोग्राम में पूछ सकते हैं. हमारा व्हाट्सएप नंबर है 9639010109 और साथ ही आप हमारी ईमेल आईडी subhartibuddha@gmail.com पर भी आप अपनी जिज्ञासाएं भेज सकते हैं. तब तक मैं आरपी सिंह मेरठ स्टूडियो से और डॉक्टर साहतुर सैंदार जी देहरादून स्टूडियो से लेते हैं विदा. कल इसी समय फिर उपस्थित होंगे. नमो बुद्धाय.
सुभारती कैंसर इंस्टीट्यूट, विश्व की अत्याधुनिक मशीन द्वारा कैंसर का हर तरह का इलाज, साथ ही MRI, कार्डियक सीटी स्कैन, किडनी, हिप एंड जॉइंट ट्रांसप्लांट, हेयर ट्रांसप्लांट, एंडोस्कोपी, लैपारोस्कोपी, न्यूरोसर्जरी आदि सुविधा भी उपलब्ध हैं. 24 आवर्स इमरजेंसी, डायलिसिस एंड डायग्नोस्टिक सर्विसेज. सुभारती हॉस्पिटल, NH58 मेरठ.
Raj Bihari Bose, Subharti University, Dehradun. The road to your professional development starts here. Registration and admissions are open. For more info, dial 761 758 5561. 761-758-5566 or log in to our website www.rbbsu.edu.in.
Swami Vivekananda Subharti University, one of the leading universities of North India, 250 acres campus, 220 plus professional and vocational programs, 20,000 plus students. Give wings to your career with Swami Vivekananda Subharti University, Meerut, Delhi, NCR.
नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो